Hey everybody, it's Caleb. And we've had several people leave comments on our YouTube asking, how do I improve alter communication? That's like one of the main things with systems is communication with our parts. That's one of the ways we heal and we move forward. But getting to that point is not easy. So one, I just want to say it's okay if you're struggling. Your brain built this protective mechanism around you not being aware of other parts, and it takes a while. So getting in therapy and learning like how to be in a good and safe place will help other alters know that you're safe to communicate with, that like communicating with you isn't going to destabilize the system. So that would be step one. After that, it can still be really difficult. Even if you're aware of the system and you've had some communication, it can still be really difficult. So our recommendation would be to try a lot of different types of methods and see which one works best for you and your system. So I'm going to list several of the different types of methods of communication that we've read about and used ourselves. Then number one, tried and true one that you'll see online is get a journal. So have a journal, a notebook, something out in a high traffic area in your house that parts are going to walk past and see. Title the top of the page, like whoever's out, if you have anything that you want to say, write it here. Some have like multiple journals that they keep in a specific spot. So a journal for actually journaling, like thoughts and emotions, a journal for communicating back and forth. This is something that works really well for a lot of systems. We even read we read a book, and the system in the book didn't have internal communication, but when they started writing the journal, they would write out question like, why is this happening? Who bought whatever? And then whoever it was would respond like in the next line, even while they were writing. Like, so communication can happen that way. It can be slow, like, because maybe you write a question and then it takes days for an alter to answer. Maybe they don't answer. But journaling is one of the hands down tried and true methods for alter communication. So you can try journaling. We used video back and forth. That was one of the ways that we communicated. So instead of having an alter make a journal entry when they were out, we were like, make a video when you're out. The added bonus effect of that was it was a lot harder for the host to deny alter existence when they were making videos to her, especially if it was a video she didn't remember being made. So that was really helpful for us that worked with our system. If paper journaling and video journaling isn't working for you, a lot of systems use their phones. There's a variety of apps, like note-taking apps, day-to-day task type apps that people have repurposed to use for their system. There's an app called Simply Plural that we're testing out for our system right now, where you can leave notes in the app. And that doesn't have like notifications. That would be nice. So to the creator of that app, or anyone looking to create an app for multiples, to have a notification in the app when you want another alter to, you made an important note and you want somebody to see it whenever they're out next, that would be a helpful addition. But a lot of systems have found apps that they use to communicate. Some put notes on their screen on their phone, so that I was reading about one alter and they said our home screen says, like, if you're lost, you're an alter in a system, it's okay. Here's our address. Here's like, go to this app and you'll find more information, like on their lock screen. So those are some just foundational ways that you can start to communicate. And specifically, some of the comments we're talking about internal communication. When you establish external communication, it helps to improve internal communication. And it takes a while, but what happened for us was, as we would make videos back and forth, we got to know the parts that we weren't as connected with. So like maybe Jenna didn't have amnesia part to part, but like I would have amnesia with other parts. And so I could watch their videos and kind of learn who they were and what they were like. And just doing that started to form the beginnings of connection and helped me then to form internal connections and eventually internal communication. So all these external modes of communication help strengthen connections so that there can be internal communication. Other ways to help foster internal communication, if you have access to the inner world or the headspace, if you can set up a neutral conference area. We have one in our inner world. And this is like nobody's personal space. This isn't a space for grievances or anything. This is a space that everyone can get together and talk. And so even if you haven't got access to the inner world, you can just kind of quiet your mind and then say, okay, if there's anybody here, I would like to talk. So just kind of push that back there. I would like to talk to anybody who's here. And then talk about what is the issue. If there's a day-to-day task that isn't being done, or if there's an alter whose behavior is disrupting the life and you guys want to talk about it. One, don't be aggressive. That's not going to get you very far. Come with the understanding that how you guys learn to live together is by learning to understand each other. And to do that, you have to communicate. So be like, if there's anybody out there who would like to talk, so you can say your bit and then say, if there's anyone who would like to talk, I'm listening. And then just wait and be quiet for a while. Nothing might happen. But if you're calling these things back, somebody's probably listening. It might take them a while to be able to communicate back with you, but that's also a very good way to start communication because they'll hear you, they'll see you trying. And maybe not everybody hears you, but somebody will. And it's important to kind of like wait when you say, is there anybody who would like to say something back, and just be quiet? Because it might take a second. And so if you're used to meditating, this is a good time to just take these quiet breaths, which is good for your body. Deep in and deep out, and just be quiet and listen. And so like that's a good healthy practice anyway. But if you think you hear something, one, don't be like, oh, that was just me, because then if that was another alter communicating, you've just discounted the thing that they were trying to tell you. So if you think you hear something, like write it down or just be like, okay, and just accept whatever information is. You don't have to act on it. Just accept that this might have been an alter trying to communicate with you. I know for me, when I first started communicating, I was very hard for Jenna to hear. It took a while for us to establish good communication because she had trouble discerning my voice from her thoughts. And it wasn't that I wasn't trying. It was that my default is to hide. That's how I operated. That's how I survived. So it was really hard for her to learn how to hear me. But she'd be like, was that just me or was that Caleb? And she would just be like, well, I'll just kind of take it and go from there. And especially it might be an alter if what was said was surprising to you or not something you've thought before. So if it's either of those two things, you'll probably want to give it extra weight. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. That's how I would say to start establishing communication. It takes time. It takes time and practice. The more you do it, the better it gets. So find a way that works for you guys that's external, and please leave in the comments, all you systems, leave in the comments what works for you. Like if you've got a journal system that's like killer, or a video system, or an app like that you really like, that you've repurposed, or that's for multiples, leave it in the comments. That way people can find resources, because we all know it's really hard to find good resources. And that's why these videos do well, is because we're information sharing. We're helping each other out. So leave them in the comments. And so after you find an external communication that works for you, that's going to be strengthening communication overall. And then for internal, you just practice talking back and listening. Even if you don't hear anything, if you can, establish a safe conference space. If you can't, just talk back. I hope that helps for you guys. Best of luck. It takes time, but you'll get there. Bye.